Macmillan to be followed by James Kelly. Stuart Macmillan.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. Presiding Officer, I do support the general aims of this bill, and I commend the report from colleagues also on the Standards Committee. I wish to deal with the aspects of the report at the outset before tying the report into just a wider issue just towards the end. And the bill continues Scotland's strong record of electoral reform and demonstrates the commitment to value equally everyone who chooses to make Scotland their home. The conclusions in the recommendation section of the report, I believe, is very helpful in actually bringing out the key points from the report. But I'm going to touch upon some of the paragraphs of the report from the committee. I agree with extending the franchise to foreign nationals living in Scotland, paragraph 16. For me, the situation is very much crystal clear. If someone chooses to live their life here, contribute to our society, contribute to our economy, and become part of their community, then why should they be denied a say in how Scotland and their community is run? Also, why should they be considered to be an outcast in their own community? Telling people that their voice doesn't matter by denying them a vote, in my opinion, is very much narrow British nationalism at its worst. I'm appalled that the Tories don't want this to happen, and I hope that they do rethink the position on this particular issue, because I believe that their position is just very much untenable. They may argue that the policy is not unique and that many other countries deny foreign nationals the vote. Now, that may well be the case, and it will be the case. But I believe that it ill behoves this Parliament and this country to follow in those footsteps. Sometimes in life, it's actually better to lead the way as compared to meekly following others. And this aspect of the bill, in my opinion, sets out the stall to tell all foreign nationals with indefinite right to remain that they matter to Scotland. Scotland has already led the way by lowering the voting age to 16, and these provisions in the bill take further strides to create an even more inclusive franchise. Now, we are the home of the Enlightenment, yet some in this chamber don't want to be enlightened when it comes to foreign nationals living here. I also agree with the report in paragraphs 23, 34 and 42 in this area of discussion around the franchise. And I particularly want to comment on paragraph 43. Now, well done to the committee, and shame on the Tories in this. Now, people who have left Scotland to forge a life elsewhere should, in my opinion, have no say as to how Scotland is run now. Why should they? If they have chosen not to live here for whatever reason, then they should actually forfeit the right to potentially affect the running of the country. Now, there will be people who do live here, who have got contracts, who work elsewhere. Jamie Halcrow-Johnson touched upon some of this earlier on. Now, there will be people who work in the oil and gas sector, but their home is here, so they will not be adversely affected. They will still have their right to vote here, and quite rightly so. I welcome the recommendation and the comments from the Cabinet Secretary today regarding asylum seekers, that's regarding paragraph 51 of the report. I accept it's a different argument for voting entitlement, but I do welcome the Cabinet Secretary's approach to examine if this matter can be progressed further. On the issue of candidacy rights, I welcome the recommendations at 67 and also 68. As I've stated in this chamber before, Scotland's tartan is a mix of colours and backgrounds. It's not just white with a ginger fringe. That more candidates from differing backgrounds and nationalities makes our country and our society stronger. Anyone in the chamber at the time of Christian Allard and Marco Biaggi stating their oaths in both French and Italian respectively, would accept that that was a privilege to actually be in the chamber at that time. And I think, and I believe, we have more people from different backgrounds standing for this Parliament and also for local authorities, then I also believe that, that our community, our society and our country will be better for it when we have more people from different backgrounds elected to the various chambers. Extending the candidacy rights for those with indefinite rights to remain, in my opinion, is very much a measure that can only make Scotland stronger and a better country for it. I also, thank you. I also support the recommendation of allowing those serving under 12 months the right to vote. Very few people would actually be enfranchised, as Bill Kidd spoke of earlier on, but I do believe it's a progressive step forward. But I note that Liam Kerr, in his comments, indicated, and I can't remember your full quote, but he indicated that this will only be a small number, it might not make a difference. Well, I'm actually standing here beside Bill Kidd, who won his seat by 7 votes. Every single vote counts. and Stephen Gethins, who won his seat by 2 votes. Every single vote counts. So I genuinely believe it will be a progressive step in going forward. I note the recommendation from the committee, so clearly this is very much an area that more discussion does need to happen around. Now, Jamie Halcrow-Johnson spoke earlier about the barriers to political participation, and there are many, and that's a point that we will both agree on. However, the actions of politicians and political parties can also help with the issue of political engagement. Politicians are quite right to highlight trolling and abuse that they get, particularly female politicians. Today's report in the BBC actually highlights 4 such female politicians from across the political spectrum. We are also, at the moment, in the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence period, and all of us will wholeheartedly support the campaign. So with that in mind, would Jamie Halcrow-Johnson therefore condemn his colleague Ruth Davidson after her ill-considered tweet this week about the First Minister getting a doing? Now, political engagement and encouraging voters should be done positively without using that type of language. So I do support the principles of this bill. I do thank the Standards Committee for their excellent report, and I look forward to the rest of this debate and also this bill progressing through Parliament so our country can become a more progressive country and also a more politically engaged country with more people in the society. Thank you very much.